Hello and welcome to another See You Next Thursday. First of all, I'd like to apologise for there being no CUNT last week. I had to be careful how I said that. Myself and Seamus were so bored without proper footy that we failed to notice that Billy had slipped his leash and escaped from his cage. After a frantic night searching for him in local pubs and clubs, we finally found him passed out on a neighbour's doorstep in a puddle of his own vomit. So we've upped security now and hopefully it won't happen again. So apologies to all who suffered seeing a naked Ed 25 staggering around the area singing about Dice's Barmy Army last week. Secondly, just to let you know, there won't be any CUNT for the next 2 weeks as I'm away and my colleagues have all the technical know-how of fresh roadkill. So yeah, there won't be one. Anyway, that's the parish notices dealt with. So on to this week's episode and returning the UEFA Champions League, resplendent in its new format. Tonight we'll be discussing how our teams got on in this new version and what effect we feel it will have on their chances. To that end, we have our resident Everton fan, Ed25, our very own Sport Billy, and our Man United fan, Ed777, so numbered because his life is going down in flames like it was built by Boeing. I am, of course, referring to Seamus O'Deeps, the luck-ender himself. How are you both tonight, and how did your teams get on in the Champions League?
Well, good, thanks, but we decided to opt out of Champions League this year to strengthen our home form.
Is that so you could play in the League Cup instead? You thought you'd
Absolutely,
take a season off
We're
and
going to
play in the League Cup
concentrate.
instead? Yeah, concentrate on domestic competition this year.
Absolutely.
Right. What about your excuse, Seamus? You want to get one in?
Oh, we did pumping Barcelona 7-0.
Barcelona, for fuck's sake. Are we going to have this all the time?
No, clearly the scoreline shows Manchester United 7, BAR 0. Obviously, if it's a BAR, it's Barcelona.
It's more
That's what
likely to
the
be
short
British
form is
American racing than, for those who don't know F1. That's an obscure reference, I know. So,
But be honest, Chris. Do you really understand the new CL format?
No, I don't have a fucking clue what's going on, but I do think it actually could be more exciting because simply no one can sit back and say, right, that's 1-0, that's enough, 2-0, fine. You've got to keep going because at the end of the thing, the chances are pretty much like there's going to be a massive clump of teams at the top that are all going to have the same number of points. And, it's probably going to come down to goal difference, which ones make it into, just automatically qualify and which ones go into the playoff. And the same at the bottom end, the goal difference could decide which ones drop out and which ones make the playoff. So it could be more exciting. Might not be, might be fucking awful, but, it does look like it's starting out quite entertaining.
No, it could, but right now I think we've just taken a break because it's too complicated. We will see how the format steps up, and maybe next year we will decide if we want to join or we should just skip this.
Yeah, good thinking.
Stay in the Europa League instead, eh? If it's not very exciting, yeah?
When is the Europa League commencing? I don't know, man.
I don't know, the lesser competitions, you don't really notice them when you're in the Champions League, do you, Bill? Oh, sorry, what am I asking you?
Yeah. Aren't Arsenal playing tonight?
Yeah, they certainly are.
They're playing Atalanta.
So the Champions League is happening
3 nights. Yeah, it's confusing.
3 nights? Like genuine, like jokes are part of like only your team qualifying this season.
It's just a money making machine, that's all. You've all these European competitions. They're nothing to do with football, they're all about making money. I'm glad we're not in it.
Yeah.
Next week. Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be next week. Nice, okay. It's gonna be next week. Europa League is gonna be next week. Again, 3 nights it seems. Okay.
Are they going to be playing at the same time as Champions League games? Because they can't really not spread them out, can't they? Because they have so many games to fit in now.
I don't know if there are Champions League games next week, because it's going to be next
doesn't
week
really bother you, does it?
for Europa League. I'm not really bothered by the inferior competition.
Oh, dear.
Okay, Chris. I think it's kind of like this week it was Champions League, next week it's gonna be Europa League, and then again the first week of October it's gonna be Champions League.
Yeah, there's nothing listed. I thought the first week of October was the international break.
No, there's like one
no
October
League
1, 2. No, there is 1, 2 October 1st and 2nd.
Oh, is it? Right. Oh,
Yeah.
fuck! I thought it was the international break. That's why I was. Must be the following week, the international.
No, I
break.
think the next break is October last and November 1st week.
No, there's one definitely.
Who cares? Who cares?
Yeah,
who cares?
10th
Yeah.
of October, 10th of October, just Nation League games. I just checked the week after. So yeah, it was that week. That's why I chose to go then, because I thought it was international break. I missed it. I've got it the wrong way round. I've gone before it starts rather than, so I'm coming back when it's on rather than going when it's on and coming back just before it finishes. Damn. I messed up my thing. It was just when the cheapest flights and hotels are available, really.
No, we know you can't read well.
No, not with this. I can't follow the friggin' calendars. Because then I'd have to remember when dates were, and people would expect me to remember their birthdays and stuff then, and that's not happening. That's effort. I mean, does anyone that's male remember dates?
No,
I don't have
absolutely not. No, I don't.
Unless they come up on your phone's got a reminder, like on the calendar, tells you. As that happens, and then it's only if they've put it in, in their whatever their account, their thing, their settings, that the Google Calendar or whatever it is that does it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we talk about the actual footy anyway, right?
Yeah.
Are we going to start with? We're going to start with the weekend's games. I think we need to get them out the way, don't we? I know Billy's looking forward, chomping at the bit to talk about the weekend because his team did so well, didn't they?
Yeah, they didn't do great, but
fucking hell, both of us. Oh god, it was a shit day on Merseyside. Let's be honest. But anyway,
Merseyside, yeah.
Let's start with
Merseyside.
Let's start with Southampton, who are possibly the worst team I've ever seen in the Premier League, except for Everton this season, against Man United. And it was a close run thing at first, but United ran out 3-0 afterwards because they just Southampton just fell apart once they'd conceded, didn't they? They're not a good side. Southampton.
It started when they missed the pen. They were on top for long periods of the first half, and then they had a chance to go 1-up with the pen. And, obvious penalty, Dallo. Terrible. And I know they were all moaning about it, but it was a pen. And they had the chance to go ahead, and that might have changed things. I'm not saying it would have, but it might have changed things. And then, from then, they just fell apart. I give United the credit, like, they attacked well. Thought Marcus Rashford done okay actually. And, for a change. And, they ran out well-deserved winners, you know what I mean? But it could have all hinged on that penalty miss. You get 1-up, and United might have started to panic. But in the end, United well-deserved the win.
That was a stroll on the park by the end. But
it was,
the first few minutes, when they conceded that penalty, you're thinking, Jesus, they could actually they could be in for a hiding here at one point, it looked like.
They had a couple of good chances as well before the penalty. They had a couple of good, better than half chances to actually score. And, it could have been so different, but in the end, United's quality told, and not so much United's quality, more how bad Southampton are as a side in the end.
So what did you think, Seamus? Did you watch it?
I think obviously I didn't watch it because we lost when I watched us. The record is impeccable. I watched Liverpool versus Man United. We lost. No, but my personal prediction for the game was it would be a bit of a cagey start. First game after the international break, early kickoff, away from home. I thought it was going to be a bit of a cagey game. I myself predicted it to be for us to go 1-0 down and then maybe come back in the second half. But like you guys said, Southampton were so bad that the moment they missed the penalty, they just completely crumbled.
Yeah, very much so.
First game after the international break, I can forgive the team for not being completely amazing off the blocks. But what is it with all these promoted sites now trying to play themselves out of trouble?
From the back,
but actually just playing themselves into even more trouble.
Yeah, it seems to be the new thing, doesn't it? Play out from the back, even if you haven't got the players to do it. It cost Burnley last year the status in the Premier League. Exactly the same thing. Trying to play this play to the keeper. He puts it into midfield, short midfield. He plays it to the fullback, goes back to the keeper and back to the right back then. And it's just nonsense, absolute nonsense. Doesn't get them anywhere. I'm not a fan of it at all. I don't mind a little bit of football being played, but there's a time and a place to play good football at the back, and that certainly wasn't that for Southampton on Saturday.
Southampton aren't the only side.
No,
they're not the only side who can be blamed for this, but this is what I call suicide football. Even a side like United who aren't great at pressing, you just invite them for further afield. When you have the ball, you just play yourself into trouble. At least know your level. Even Man City lump the ball forward at times. Come on.
Yeah.
When these guys, when they study about Pep, they should study 100% of his football, not the ones that the media shines the light on.
Yeah.
Utter complete idiocy. It's nothing else. Especially when you've seen Burnley go down with a whimper.
Yeah.
You have to know that a side that was claimed to be one of the best ever championship side flattered to deceive when they came up against the Premier League opposition because of their approach.
Yeah,
why try to replicate what they did, which was unsuccessful, when you're an even inferior side?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it just reminds me of when Brendan Rodgers joined Liverpool and he tried to do this, eventually, after that he had one, the good season where he nearly won the league, and then he just, went back to this, passing it around at the back with no actual intent to get it forward. And I don't understand why they think that's what it's about. Even Pep Guardiola's constantly saying, I don't play tiki-taka. I don't like tiki-taka. I do not do... Over and over he said it. And yet it's still always reported as if he does do it. And he doesn't. Half the time, it's just basically they play it short, keep passing it around short to draw players in, and then they switch the play into space.
Yeah.
It's long balls that create the space, not the short passing.
Yeah. That's why I prefer dice football. Just get it and lash it.
We will get to that,
though, Bill.
Yeah, wouldn't it just?
Lash it too, yeah. That's the problem. But yeah, Southampton, then there's no way if they carry on playing like this all season, they're just going to go down as one of the worst teams ever to play in the Premier League.
Yeah, I couldn't argue with that. They're awful, man.
But why was Cameron Archer the designated penalty taker for them when they had Brent Barrett and Diaz on the books, who was apparently scored 6 out of his last 7 or 7 out of his last 8. Like, he's got a very good record,
Yeah,
and
he's a penalty
Archer has
taker.
never taken. Yeah, and Archer has never taken a Premier League penalty.
Yeah, I do not know why Archer was down as the penalty taker, unless they have a thing where whoever wins it takes it.
Make the taker, yeah.
But it wasn't Archer who won it. It was the other young guy, no?
Oh,
I don't know.
I thought it was Archer. I thought that was maybe why they'd done it. They given it to him because he was the one that won it. I didn't notice that. I can't say I was really watching that closely to actually notice who was. I'd have to watch it back again now.
But when you are a side, when you are a side like Southampton, these little things should matter, because maybe if they had gone 1-0 up, maybe they would have had a chance of getting a point or even a win.
Yeah, because you
and imagine as a club, as a fan base, getting a good result against, even though it is a much poorer side than the ones from the past, but still, imagine getting what a lift you would get from getting a result against Man United.
Very much so.
Yeah,
give everyone a left. Yeah,
probably give them a chance of picking up more results in the future, just on the basis of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't see them doing anything other than going down. But for United, it has been a big boost. I mean, we saw in midweek how much it helped them. Because, like, normally they'd have I'd still have expected them to win midweek, but I don't think they'd have won by such a big score without having won this one so easily. Anyway, should we move on? Oh.
It was already, come on, Chris, it was already a boost for Man United the moment Casemiro didn't make the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Wow. That meant we were playing 11v11, not 10v12.
True. So he was trying to stop Garnacho doing his celebration, wasn't he, at this the other night.
By the way, did you guys see the incident with Ahmad? United should have had a penalty, no? I know we won 3-0, so it doesn't get talked up, but a bad call should be brought up, no?
Yeah, no, go on. I didn't see it.
No,
I can't remember it.
Ahmad wiggled his way into the box. He was pushed off the ball. If it was a penalty, no, I thought it was worth a penalty, but at the end of the day, I have read into classes, so.
Oh, right, okay.
One, so I can't.
If I find it, I will send it to you.
Yeah, send me the link if you can.
Just because you won a game comfortably, it doesn't mean those things shouldn't be brought up. Because if nothing else, then it reflects. No, if nothing else, then it reflects on the referee, and it should matter.
Yeah, because the goal difference at the end of the season could make a difference between whether you finish. Whether you finish
whether you win the league or you win.
Well, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen to United. Let's be honest.
No, but I'm just saying on a grand scheme, just because you won a game comfortably for every side, not just United.
Exactly. Yeah, it can always make a difference. I mean, we've seen goal difference as has decided a league title in the past. So yeah.
On multiple occasions, no.
Yeah, so you have to get it right every time, because it can make a huge difference. Yeah.
Right, time to move on. Go on, Trish.
Brighton versus Ipswich, 0-0 draw. Good result for Ipswich. Brighton will be very.
It was, yeah. I was very disappointed by Brighton, to be honest with you. I've never actually seen the game, but you'd expect them to beat Ipswich, wouldn't you? Yeah, it's a bit of definitely 2 points drop there. I was surprised because they look quite good going forward, Brighton. And I believe they had chances, but as I said, I've not really seen the game. But 0-0 is a very poor result for a team like Brighton, who started off so long. They'll be very disappointed with that.
Big result for Ipswich, though.
Is it the first point of the season for them?
I think it might.
Or did they draw against Fulham? Oh, I think they drew against Fulham. No?
Yeah,
that's a second.
They got 2 points. Yeah, they got 2 points. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still first clean sheet of the season. And Brighton were missing the main attacking threat, the highest point scorer in the fantasy league from their side now.
Who's that?
João Pedro.
Oh, is he?
João Pedro. Oh, he's injured.
I don't know that. I mean, they're right up there as well in the top half of the table. You know, they're right up there pushing for European places this season, so they can't afford to be dropping points like that. Must be said. That's a big thing.
You know, we were talking about before about if Southampton had got that goal up and to give them a bit of confidence and maybe on and get a lead. That's a massive boost for Ipswich, isn't it, to get a point at the top side like right now, while the way you started off. So that's a massive boost for them. And I'm sure they'll go into the next game with a bit of confidence, you know, to maybe think that they can get a result at that good team. So, all power to them. You know, it's a good result, that.
It's kept them out of the relegation places. I know it's early doors and all that, like, and it doesn't really matter at this point in the season. But when you're a team like Ipswich, it does, because it gives you that feeling of you've got a chance. If you're, you know, if you're out of the Prem, you know, even at this early stage, it still just gives you that feeling that, you know, you could do this. You know, we can do this.
Yeah,
that's what the players will be thinking.
And to shut out a team like Brighton who've got attacking options, you know, it's a very good result for them, and it can only do them the confidence a lot of good. So I'll be hopeful to see what they can produce at the weekend. See how they go on.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see then if they can keep it going. Who have they got next? You know?
No, I haven't got my phone with me.
No. Couldn't be bothered to look either myself. Oh well. Palace Leicester's next. That was another draw as well. 2-2 this time.
Yeah. Go on, Chess.
I was just to say, a bit of a surprise result as well, like Ipswich one, like away from home. Palace this side. Yeah, Leicester.
They were 2-1 up and all, Leicester, and you know, it looked as though they were going to hang on, and it's only late on. Palace scored the equaliser. So then another side who are going to be buoyant with the result they got. A point for Palace is never a bad result. Because they are quite decent.
Yeah, they haven't started the season well though, have they? Yet to win. 2 draws, 2 defeats. It's a bit of a surprise. You'd have thought this would be the game where they'd get up and running, wouldn't you?
You would, yeah. Absolutely you would.
Yeah.
But it wasn't to be. You know, Leicester were probably, I'd say, the better side. I've seen bits of it, only the highlights of it. But Leicester played pretty decent, actually, and I'm not a fan of Leicester City. But they played okay. You know, they were a threat all through the game, and you know, and they could have easily gone on to win that game. They never, but yeah, they played okay, Leicester.
Okay. They've got away with a points deduction as well.
Yeah. I think they'll come on to that at the end of the thing.
I still hope they go, because they don't deserve to be in the Premier League after cheating like that, you know. And then fighting it like that, it's just wrong. And did you see anything of that, Seamus?
No, but how Leicester have escaped any kind of punishment is beyond me.
Exactly.
They escaped punishment in the Championship, saying their misdemeanor was in the Premier League, and now they're in the Premier League, and now there is no punishment.
Yeah, now they're saying some of it was in the Championship. How does that work? Both of them should, both the Championship and the Premier League should punish them in that case, I think.
And the wording on the technicality of the wording, that shouldn't happen, but it's just a cop-out for me. You don't know what's happening behind the scenes. It's a cop-out for me. They should have been fined, should have been banned, so I've got no time for Leicester City.
Yeah, they should have...
I think the only right solution, there's only one right solution, and that is a points deduction for Everton and Forest.
I agree. Especially Forest after the weekend. Get them down.
Right, let's move on to the next one.
Who's next? Fulham West Ham. I got another draw, 1-1 this time.
Yeah. Fulham were the better side. I watched some of this, and Fulham. I was disappointed with West Ham, to be honest with you. They didn't have much about them really, and some come on obviously and scored the equaliser, the ex-Liverpool lad, and they didn't look as though they were going to score all the way through the game for me. Fulham had a few really good chances. West Ham should have been dead and buried by half time. Could have had 2, maybe 3 goals at half time, and it didn't look as though they were in the game until the last 10 minutes when they were pushing. And I was very disappointed with the West Ham. I thought they were going to be a little bit better than that this season, but they look poor to me.
They've not been good at all this season, have they? Have you seen anything of that, Seamus?
Not really.
Oh, okay. You're not much use, really, are you? Thankfully, when we get to the Champions League games, I'm sure you'll have a bigger input, won't you? Oh, God's sake! Where did we find you two from, eh? Hey, should we move on?
No, I do.
And then we'll move on straight up to Man City, Brentford.
No. I'll just say, leave this comment here. For a guy who appears weekly on a weekly football podcast, I do watch a lot of football now.
You used to watch a lot, but now you're too busy living it up.
Why have we not? No, why have we not talked about Liverpool, Nottingham Forest?
Not yet. It's coming. It's coming.
Okay. No, it's not coming. It's arrived. It's arrived and we're just been skipped.
That one. Yeah, we don't need to talk about that one. There's nothing to say.
So, Man City. What about Man City now?
No,
hang on, Willie.
Liverpool. I like that City was that.
No, Liverpool Forest next. I was just joking.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I will start watching more of Liverpool games now. It took less than 5 minutes for Forest to score the moment I turned it on.
Oh, to be honest, mate, it wouldn't have mattered whether you turned on or not. They were going to beat Liverpool that game. We were awful.
No, but it mattered. No, Billy, sorry, notice it mattered. It mattered because up until I switched it on, they were unable to score.
It wasn't that they were unable to score. They never really tried to score until they changed. They started bringing on the substitutes to attack Liverpool because they realised Liverpool weren't going to score no matter what they did. They were just They defended brilliantly. Forest, but Liverpool.
No, the case is very simple. They were waiting for me.
Were they?
They knew they knew who needed to be impressed.
Did they? Is that
they were just waiting for me to switch on my television so that they can impress me because I am the one who matters.
I actually think they were just waiting for me to stop swearing for them long enough to actually watch the game properly. That was the moment when they scored, when I'd just given up swearing at Liverpool for being so bad. Then they put it in the back of the net, and I'm like, and it was such a bad piece of defence. It wasn't just him, but in particular, he was done all ends up. But the team was... McAllister...
You can say whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. Who could have done better and anything, but it was Hudson-Odoi against Bradley, and Bradley didn't come inside and take a shot.
Yeah,
which is amateurish.
Yeah, you can't let him do that. It doesn't matter who it is defending. You have to know your opponent. And Hudson-Odoi, you know what he wants to do. He wants to cut inside and he wants to hit the shot. Why let him do that?
Especially when he has no option.
Yeah, he's got nobody else there near him, so he's got to do. That's all he can do. So you just force him outside. But no, Bradley was very poor in that situation. But it's not just...
Did you think Allison was still thinking that was going wide?
I just think he couldn't get near it, to be honest. It was so well
placed.
It was.
He never really made a dive. See, he never really made a dive to it. So,
when you watch it, it's well hidden. He doesn't see it until the last second.
I know it's coming around. It's coming around the player.
Yeah,
it's just that he didn't look great.
He doesn't see it. So he's got no chance. As soon as when he sees it, it's already virtually in the back of the net. So it's just like, oh fucking hell, you know what I mean? But like, to be honest, I've got to say, this is where I've got to say, McAllister was an absolute disgrace in that game, and I would have taken him off within 5 minutes. I've got to admit, that was what most of my swearing was at. He was really pissing me off. Constantly play acting and diving, and he was bullied.
He got like the Highland chest and over the stomach, and he got hit on the post, and he's over his stomach and rolling around. I'm thinking, what the hell are you doing?
He hasn't even been touched, and he's gone down after time as well. This is what's really frustrating. It's pathetic. It's the thing is, that's what they're taught to do in Argentina. I get that, and he's just come back from playing with Argentina. But still, you've got to know your team. You know, you can't do that in the Premier League, and it was pathetic. It was embarrassing.
There's got to be some integrity, hasn't it, from the players, really? You know, all players, to me.
Oh,
they're always rolling around.
I can't understand why the other Liverpool players. I mean, if I'd have been Virgil van Dijk, I'd have gone over there and kicked him up the fucking ass myself. And get up and get on with it. You're fucking embarrassing me. That's what I'd have been saying if it had been me. Because that was absolute. It wasn't, because it was like there was nobody anywhere near him, and he was throwing himself to the ground. It was embarrassing. He was bullied by Yates. Absolutely, just couldn't have it at all. It was pathetic. He shouldn't have been playing anyway. I think that's the first thing. He shouldn't have been in the team. He's not been good this season. I know other people think he has been, but he's been doing this a lot. He does tend to have a bit of amateur dramatics about him anyway. His mobility's so lacking. He's a weak point that other teams attack constantly. It happened with Milan. That's how they scored. And, every time they looked for a pass, that was what they were always looking for, is just a quick break Leao to break down the side and play the ball across into the space where McAllister wouldn't be, because he wouldn't get back quickly enough, and he's not got the intelligence to sit. You know what I mean? Drop off. He's a weak link for me in this system we're playing. He needs to be playing further forward. He's no good where he's playing. He's too slow. He can't get back, and he hasn't got the reading of the game to anticipate that he needs to have dropped back earlier. And he was caught out by but like in this game, he was just absolutely bullied out of the game, and he shouldn't have been. Should have taken him off early.
You can carry one or two players though, but Liverpool can't afford to put how many they carried on Saturday.
The only players
because they were very poor. Mo was poor, and I'm a big Mo fan at the time, and he was very poor.
One player had a good game, that was Gravenberch, and Alisson didn't have a bad game because, he never had anything to do, to be fair. The only thing he did was pick the ball out the back of the net once, pretty much. That was it.
Well, you've got to give Forrest a bit of credit there, Chris. They come with a game plan and they stuck to it. And you were very good defensively. Very good.
Oh no, I've said that in the match review I wrote. I thought Forest were brilliant. They did they knew what their plan was. They sit back, they soak up the pressure, hold Liverpool out for an hour, and then bring on bring on pace and attack Liverpool. And they did it really well. And it worked brilliantly for them. But the thing was that the main difference was their midfield. They had a lot of athleticism and strength and power in there, and they just overrun the Liverpool midfield. Basically, Gravenberch was on his own. Szoboszlai's too far forward in this system to affect it. He's playing almost off the striker, who's Jota's just been absolutely abysmal since the first game. He really has been getting worse and worse by the game. It's getting him, it's getting to the point where you just think, is he even on the pitch most of the time? And then suddenly you're like, the commentator makes you like, oh fuck, I forgot he was playing. But against that, he was awful. And so you end up Szoboszlai spending his time so far forward, he's not getting involved in the midfield. So you've got a gap there. McAllister's just not got the mobility to get around and cover the space. So Gravenberch's doing it all on his own. But I think this was Slot's mistake here, was not to start with a more combative midfield. He should have started with Endo. alongside Gravenberch.
Yeah.
Gravenberch is fine. He's doing brilliantly. He was the shining light of the game for Liverpool. The one player who turned up. Let's be honest, he was good. The one player, so it wasn't all bad for Liverpool because he was good, but you can't have one player in your midfield and hope to win a game. It's that bad.
No.
And you needed someone to fight, and I can't understand why did he not bring Endo on the first? When they scored, even he still did. There was at no point he even looked at the bench and thought, we're getting bullied in midfield. Let's bring someone on to take it back. He didn't think of that.
Yeah,
I don't understand what he was doing. He switched this bizarre back three thing with Bradley and Simicast as centre backs, almost sort of fullback things, which made absolutely no sense and didn't work at all. And we weren't creating anything. And instead of it's like he had Trent Alexander-Arnold constantly inverting in that game for some reason. Normally he's had him where he's stayed wide a lot and then inverted occasionally. But in that game he had him inverting constantly. And then as soon as he started making the substitution, he moved him into midfield where he's even less providing the width, and his passing was off. So what you do is, in my opinion, when the passing's off and your final ball's being poor, then instead of doing that, you look to play it wide and just cross it in and get bodies into the box, because at least there's a chance from that. If your passing's off, it doesn't matter if you can just cross it into the box, because that's the percentages ball. That's your chance. That's what you have to do. And so, you want your best crosser of the ball out wide. So for me, you'd be getting Trent out wide and telling him to get crosses in. That's what he should have been doing when the passing wasn't working, because it wasn't working in that game. The passing was awful from Liverpool. Every player was just making poor, like when they get on the final third, they were just giving it away every time, or overhitting it or whatever. But at least with a cross, you've got a chance of making something from it. You just got to get some bodies in there, haven't you? But yeah, they failed miserably. And Slot showed his lack of experience in the Premier League for me, where he didn't think to go for the bit of fight in there. This was a game that was clearly going to need it. They were always going to start with Yates in there, and he was always going to bully McAllister. You have to put somebody in there who's not going to be bullied. I mean, even if you'd move, if he's so desperate to play McAllister, put him in front and drop Szoboszlai. Fine, I'm fine with that. I don't care which of them he dropped to them two, because they were both awful in that game. But one of them needed to come out, and Endo needed to play. And actually, he'd have stood up there. He wouldn't have given a shit. It didn't matter what you did to him. You could kick him up the air, and he'd just get up and get on with it. Wouldn't bother him. He'd just carry on. He'd run through a brick wall, and he'd still and he wouldn't even notice it had been there. You know what I mean? He's one of those kind of players where it just doesn't faze him. He just keeps going. He might not be the best passer of the ball, but he'd run his heart out for the team, and that's exactly what we needed rather than what we got. And yeah, it was the first sign that Slot's got a lot to learn. It's got to be said, but it's early days, so
I do airport.
Only the fourth game. Hopefully he'll learn from it. But he's going to have to, because you can't do that. You can't just play a midfield like that and not. I mean, his changes though were just bizarre. I don't know if you what did you think of them, Seamus? The changes he made at the end.
Not just the changes. I'll start by saying I think you mentioned it either on the match review or on the comments that Liverpool and Slot as a new coach needed to learn that against certain kind of opposition, you first need to earn the right to play, and then only can you start playing with the ball. That was the main issue, like you highlighted again as well. That was the main issue from the game, and probably shows the lack of inexperience that Slot has with regards to Premier League, and possibly with the variety of challenges in the Premier League, because at least in the Eredivisie, everybody is so caught up with total football and trying to play out from the back that I'm pretty sure it's unusual for him to come up against a very different kind of opposition almost every week. And secondly, Liverpool never looked like they were gonna trouble the scorers once they went 1-0 down.
Even before, mate.
It
Even before.
yeah, it wasn't hanging by the like hanging on to the 1-0 victory for Forest territory. They looked pretty much untraveled and very comfortable, which was quite
Yeah, they
bizarre.
did, yeah.
I was switching between games. I won't lie, but at no point did I ever think the game was gonna go to 1-1, let alone a 2-1 once Forest scored. Uh, Liverpool just it looked like everybody was trying to force things
Yeah.
instead of being natural, and the changes as well. It was more like a do plan A better
Yeah.
and try to make another better pass instead of let's try something new, something different. This isn't working for us.
Well,
It
it's
it
not
just
just
so
it wasn't
I think
working, it's
this
they were
is so
doing it badly as well.
it kind
Yeah,
of
but
looked, at least to me, that even after after watching the game for 75 minutes, Slot never really figured out that for it that Liverpool basically hadn't, like you said, hadn't earned the right to play.
Yeah, he just kept wanting
They
to
never,
do more. It's like, no, you've got to win the midfield battle first. Control, you can control football. This is the thing, it reminds me of Pep Linders with his stupid talk about control by putting an extra man in there without actually having any plan of how to utilise the extra man. It's just that is not how you control a midfield, by having more ball players in there. You have to have someone first has to be able to take control of the midfield by scaring the opposition, by out fighting them. It doesn't have to be with a full-blooded challenge. They just have to be able to get in their faces and make sure that they get no time and space and that. And we didn't do that at all. Did nothing. It was Forest could have played, could have put it at the B side. To be fair, the way they played, they'd have won easily no matter what. But they were excellent, to be fair to them.
Yeah.
They really
they
did.
were.
Yeah, it's just we were terrible, which makes it worse. It'd have been nice if you could say Forest were brilliant and Liverpool were brilliant, but still lost. That's even, that's fine. But Liverpool was so bad. It's that really sticks. That's what sticks in my craws. Liverpool never showed any sign at any point of understanding how to even approach the game. Didn't seem to understand how to beat Forest at all.
No.
And that's worrying for me, because there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to come and park a bus, and you've got to know how to beat these teams, and stick a physical enforcer in midfield and try to out muscle you. You've got to know how to beat them teams. So yeah, I'm going to get off my soapbox now. We'll move on to Man City Brentford. I really, for a few seconds, like when
no, come on.
You just thought,
I have to have the last word here. I have to have the last word on this Liverpool topic. Okay. I think it's time for me to ask you, like, how does it feel when you play against 11 men instead of 10? How does it look? How does it look when the opposition player isn't giving you the ball in dangerous spaces, creating chances for you?
It was more like we were playing with 12 men and you were playing with 10 as well when you had Casemiro.
How does it feel when it's 11v11? Is it tactics?
It's a totally
is it really Slot is a genius? Was it really Slot is a genius, or
I don't think Slot was ever.
He was lucky that Casemiro was playing. Come on. I would really love for someone. I would really have loved for someone to bring Slot on to give a tactical breakdown of the Forest game as well.
I would have liked to have heard what he's got to say about that and why he didn't make the change to bring Endo on at any point. At any point. I mean, he just kept doubling down on what wasn't working. It just makes no sense to me. I know there's a time and a place for when Plan A isn't working, do Plan A better. And I'm fully down with that. I agree with that. It's worked for Liverpool like in the 80s. It used to be the whole mantra was if Plan A isn't working, do Plan A better. But that was because Plan A would work against any team you put in front of you if you did it if you did it well. But Plan A against what we were playing against then, for that Forest side, would not have worked no matter what because we never took control of the midfield. We lost the battle in midfield, and until you take control of the midfield, and this is what I don't understand: is he's obsessed, like all modern day coaches seem to be. He's obsessed with taking control of the ball and controlling the midfield. How did he not see that you've got to put in somebody in there to fight and win it? I don't get what goes through their minds in those kind of situations. How they can't see that the thing is. That it's got to be, it's got to be a fighter in there. I know he didn't even want one. He was looking to buy another ball player in Zubimendi.
Yeah.
But he's got to see that.
Who has had a great start as well, no? Zubimendi has had a great start to the season as well, no?
Yeah, he's not happy though, is he?
Mistakes galore.
Yeah, he's not happy though, is he? He's regretting it. So. I think it's one of those things where you think when you've said it, you think, shit, maybe I shouldn't have stayed because this team isn't very good, and I could have been playing in the Champions League for the chance of actually winning it, where things like that, must weigh on your mind. It'd take a while to recover from, but I'm sure he'll be fine.
I think it's an easy escape he's looking for. That shows the weak. For me, at least. It shows weak mentality. If you can't stand by your own decision, then...
Yeah, I can see what you're saying, but it happens a lot.
No, but at the end, it was his decision to make.
Yeah, it was, and he's...
I know, he was forced into making a decision, but he had the choice, so it's an easy escape he's taking, but still...
Yeah, well... I wouldn't have wanted him at Liverpool anyway. I don't think he was what we needed, so I didn't see the point in it. He's just another McAllister. We've already got him, so why sign another one? It just seemed a bizarre signing for me.
Yeah, I will just give you this chant and then we will move on to Manchester City game. Rhythm is a dancer, Anthony Elanga.
What?
He provided the assist.
It wasn't really much of an assist. It's one of those assists that's absolutely fucking worthless, isn't it? Because it was all on. It was all on. I think Bradley.
Yeah.
I would get more of an assist than Elanga for that. To be fair.
Yeah, but still, like how can you break away with two players, one right winger, another left winger? Pass a ball through the whole defense and get down to scoring. Slot can give as many tactical breakdowns as he can, but that was horrendous.
Get off your soapbox now. Let's move on to Manchester City.
Come on, Billy, we have to utilize this opportunity. It's not every week that we get to make fun of Liverpool, especially at Anfield. How many times has Van Dijk lost a game at Anfield?
Not many.
You can probably count them in one hand and still have fingers left.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you're really going for this, aren't you? The Liverpool bandwagon. But it's one of them games. Just happened, and Forest thoroughly deserved the win, and Liverpool had a bad day at the office. I think that's all we can sum up and say about the Liverpool performance there.
No, I think this just shows that the quadruple is gone for Liverpool this season. They're not winning the league.
After one game, I can't see it. I don't think you can rule them out at this stage, to be honest.
Oh, by the way, Haaland is going and City are going. It's gonna be 114 points.
Yeah, let's down a nice segue into the Man City. I actually watched some of this. I watched the start of it, and Brentford could have been 2 or 3 up. They started terrible, City, and they had a couple of damn good chances to score. And I was surprised how good Brentford were early doors. And then once Ireland took over, it was game over.
Usual. Yeah, it's business as usual.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, I was very disappointed with City early doors, I must say.
I was going to say, you say business as usual, but every time I've watched City, they do not look like a spread. They do not look that good this season. Like last
That's
season,
what I said all along.
They're there for the taking, but teams are just not doing it. They showed against who did they play last night? Inter, was it?
Inter
in their 14th kit. Yeah, City are playing in their 14th kit of the season.
I can't.
Which is the same colour as the linesman. But anyway, yeah, how the fuck does that even get allowed when it's so similar that they're passing to the linesman in the middle of a match? I mean, this is ridiculous. Why are they even allowed a 4th kit anyway? It's stupid. You shouldn't even be allowed 3. It should be 2 at most. But yeah, to have a 4th kit and then it's the same colour as virtually close enough that they're passing to the linesman at times, and the players even admitted that. But like, you know, Inter showed that City are not that great a side. They're not, and they're picking up results. They're not playing particularly well. That's what's worrying, is that if they get going, it could be too late. They could be too far ahead.
No, but when I say business as usual, I mean City get the ball, pass it to Haaland, he scores. The game is because the moment they take the lead, you cannot risk attacking them because it leaves more space for Haaland to run behind.
Yeah, we were talking about that before, weren't we? That, you know, it doesn't all have to be tippy-tappy football. These are balls over the top for Haaland, and he's running onto them and he's scoring nearly every time. And you know, they're not all this little ticky-tacky stuff. They play up the ball over the top or through the channel to Haaland, and he's a unit and he's hard to stop, and he's got off to a marvellous start this season, and he's always going to win your games.
Another hat-trick. Almost got another hat-trick.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Well.
It's just a cheat code now, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. it's once you go behind you, it's very tough because, like I said, you already run the risk of conceding against him, because even a lesser performing City side produce enough chances for Haaland to feast on. But the moment you give him space, I know I criticize him a lot for not being an actually great footballer, but the guy can score.
And his movement's so good. He's constantly making runs, so he's causing problems constantly for the defence and moving them about to create space in the midfield. You know, he doesn't actually have to be involved in the link-up play to actually work as part of the team. That's what he's improved this season, I've got to say.
He'll drag through players, right? He'll drag players out of position. Yeah, that's exactly what he
wasn't doing enough of that before, but now he's started to really, you know, help the team rather than just be in the part of the team, if you see what I mean, and wait for the chance to be provided. Now he's actually helping them create chances for them by constantly moving the defence about. He's definitely improved this season.
But yeah. I'm just counting days. Almost kind of sort of praying that maybe Haaland gets suspended or something and City have to try and do something else now. Because it's becoming boring. City play the ball around, somehow Haaland gets a chance, he finishes. Then they knock one over the top. He gets on the end, finishes. The game is over.
Yeah. But as Chris was saying before, Brentford could have been 2 up, maybe 3 up, you know, before City finally got into the game. They looked awful at the back, to be honest with you. They looked all over the place, and Ederson made a great save. He didn't know much about it, but he was on his line and made a great save from blank range. That would have been 2-0. Could have been a different game. You know what we were saying before about Southampton at against United? That goes to 2-0. It's a little bit of a different game then. You're chasing the game then. But they were well good enough to get away with the result, But I don't think they're that much above the other teams this year, except for Haaland. Haaland's the difference. I don't think the rest of the players are as good as what they were the last couple of years. But I think Haaland makes the difference. And as you said before, Deeps, if he gets injured and they've got to look for another outlet, maybe there might be a little opening for another team to step in.
Yeah, because they haven't.
And I think that could honestly happen. No, they haven't, no.
Because he's playing he's now back up to Sorloth instead of Haaland now, which must be nice for him. I mean, to move from Man City to where you're backing up Haaland, to then go and become back up to Sorloth, that must be quite a bit of a bump. You know what I mean? Bring you back down to earth quickly, mustn't it?
Yeah.
I think he thought he was going to be number one pick there, but it's just not happened for him.
No.
Yeah. I really just think somebody needs to, if somebody can just pick up, if they can just hold off City, stop them scoring, like Inter did. I think I think City could could hit a bad patch if they're, without Haaland, they've got nobody to create the goal chances without him. They're going to look a different team. And that's the big hope, really, isn't it? Really, is he gets suspended for 6.5 months or something? Because otherwise, you can't see anybody stopping them this season. But
you say that, but no, you say that, but we have to remember the reigning defending Premier League Player of the Year isn't even starting for them right now. It is kind of ridiculous. Okay. They don't have an alternative to Haaland. They will have to alter the playing style, but they still have the likes of Foden to come in. Gundogan was a very crucial player for them when he was around.
Good point.
The season before last. He was almost the difference maker for them, Gundogan. And they still have the likes of Sergio finding feet. Like, I hate to say it, but they're clearly the team to beat.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, they were always going to be the team to beat. I just don't think they're as good as what they've been. But that's just my personal opinion.
Your opinion is very right, Billy. Your opinion is very right. It is an opinion I share, but the sad thing is they're not as good as they were or they can be, and they're still
a
level above everyone else.
I get that, yeah, I do.
Yeah,
maybe Arsenal can do something.
All right, let's move on to someone who doesn't cheat. No.
No, I'm just saying, like maybe Arsenal can do something next week and stop Haaland, or maybe when they come up against, when Van Dijk comes up against Haaland, then City will have to try and find an alternative there.
Yeah, Haaland and Konate stand a chance against him because they're big enough and strong enough and quick enough to handle him. Possibly handle him, I should say.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how easy was it for Haaland to shrug off the Brentford defender? Was it Pinnock to score the second goal? Like, it's...
that was pretty embarrassing the way he just... I mean, he did shrug him off. It wasn't even like a full-blooded charge or anything. He was gone, wasn't he,
It looked so effortless the way he just got past him. Like.
Yeah, he's strong and he's very strong.
Yeah, he is, but he's not superhuman, is he? And you should be able to catch him on balance. You shouldn't be able to just go down like a sack of shit.
At least hinder him, come on.
Yeah, you've got to give him... You got to make him at least fight for it.
Work for it, yeah. At least make him work for his meal.
Yeah, that was just too easy. Should we move on though to Aston Villa Everton then? Well, pretty much.
Do you want to?
It's becoming
Do you want to
standard
hit
now,
the
isn't
skip
it?
button?
2-0 to Everton.
Really, do you want to skip?
Yeah, I think we leave Billy to go, don't we?
It was another one of them days, I'm afraid. It's totally Everton's fault. They got 2-0 up in the game, where never controlling the game. 2 breaks, 2 goals, and then the wheels come off again. Poor tactics by Everton. No, you could call it, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin had a really good game actually on his own. But we've got too many bad players, too many players who shouldn't be near the side playing. And the supporters have lost faith now in Dyche. I think everyone's lost faith in Dyche and his tactics and his style of football, if you can call it style. And it's another 3-2 loss after being 2-0 up 2 weeks on the trot. And it's just not good enough for Everton Football Club, and he's got to go. And I don't like the manager. He is not got control of the club. The players are not playing for him. They don't buy into this, as I was saying before, hoofball, which is get the ball, lash it up front, hope that Dominic Calvert-Lewin holds the ball up, and that you'd have a couple of players run them. You'll create something. That's all it is. That's the whole. And then you've got a defence. I know we've got injuries, but poor defending again. And Villa totally deserved the win. I was never confident that we'd even get a point, I'll be honest with you. It was very, very poor. We were a decent side, don't get me wrong. But if you go 2-0 up, you do expect to get something out of the game. But all the defence were poor, and the midfielders were poor. They give them no protection for the midfield, and the defence need it because they're so poor. Playing players that shouldn't be anywhere near the side. You know, Michael Keane again, beaten in the air. But let me say something, and I've been one of his biggest fan, not too much a fan. Pickford was goddamn awful again. Before they scored the last 2, obviously, there was 4 goals on the trot. That's 3 in the last game, and the first one where he got beat from a yard out. Now, you can't tell me that a goalkeeper can't, in the middle of his goal, can't come and pick that ball out there. And it's just been the same 4 goals on the trot, scored within a yard of the goal, and he never once come out to try and take the ball, try and punch the ball. He just stood on his line and held his hands up as though he was being held up in a robbery, and hopefully to get a hand on the ball. And he was awful. Honest to God, he's been awful, Jordan Pickford. And I've been defending him for years.
Yeah,
I don't think
he was brilliant.
I didn't say he was brilliant. I've never said he's brilliant. I said he's one of the top 5 keepers. He's not far off that. He's had a bad. There's worse than him. Honest to God, there's worse than him in the Premier. A lot worse. The Southampton lad who they bought from. That Vicario is the worst keeper in the. I think we'll come on to him anyway. But yeah, Everton. I think he is awful. The supporters have had enough now, and unless we get rid of Dyche and quickly, I think we're going to be relegated. That's my. I think we've got to go on, mate.
was just going to ask, what's with the DICE press conferences? They've devolved into farce lately, haven't they? What's with they bringing in a list of the players that are injured as if that makes a difference? You know, that's an excuse. When you were picking Keane anyway, so what the fucking hell is it got to do with having the injuries?
Yeah.
They can't blame it on that when most of the players in there are the ones you want to pick. You don't have to pick young just because you've got injuries. You've got other options, but you're still playing young. That's where it's going wrong. You know,
that's what the supporters are saying, Trish. That's exactly what the supporters are saying. You know, I can get where you come up from with the injury to Brantwaite, because the Brantwaite-Tarkowski one was a good partnership.
Yeah.
But the Tarkowski and Keane just doesn't work.
But we know
it just doesn't work.
And he knows it doesn't work because he's tried it multiple times before. So why does he keep
at
reverting to
multiple clubs? He's tried that at multiple clubs, hasn't he?
No, because he wanted Tarkowski to replace Keane at Burnley.
Okay.
So he never tried it. Yeah.
But he has the option of the young lad now.
Yeah, he's got
the one they signed from.
Yeah, O'Brien. I mean, I know he might not be the best. But we already know Keane's fucking useless. So what's the loss to try him?
You're used to saying to me exactly what the supporters are saying to me. Why is he still playing the likes of Young and Keane, who are absolutely hopeless? Honestly, they're really bad footballers, you know. And then you come to the likes of Harrison, who, you know, is really bad. He's no wonder Leeds didn't stop him. He is not a footballer. He is really not a footballer. And so that's three. That's without the others, you know, who are not performing. It's absolutely awful. And I've got to look at Thelwell as well, you know. He tried to make some cheapish value for money signing, but it hasn't worked out. Tim Aregabon has done really well. I'm giving him a bit of license here. He's done really well. He's fitted in well. He's a good, hard-working young lad, and he's been one of the pluses for Everton this season. But you know, O'Brien looks very static to me. He looks he's a big unit. He's not full of, you know, not the greatest ball player, but he is strong. So there's still a bit of time for him, you know. But we paid 20 million for it, you know what I mean? And then there's Ndiaye who we bought, you know, who he's skillful, you know. He'll give you bits and bobs, but he runs around like a chicken with a web on it. And so I'm still uncertain about it. And then he bought Beto, Thelwell, another bad buy, you know. Lindstrom doesn't look like a player. He's the next Donny van der Beek, I've been called. He's a player who you want to do well, he's skillful, but he's just not Premier League material for me. I haven't seen that much of him, but I'm good. What I've seen, very, very lightweight, yeah. It gives you basically nothing. But saying that, the way the team's set up, it's not set up for skillful players. It's set up for hard workers. Decore, absolutely hopeless, has been for a season and a half. Absolutely hopeless, Decore. And these are playing every week. Players are playing every week.
And
honestly, God, it's such a mess.
And as we were discussing before while we were waiting for Liberace to flamp in, like while we were discussing, we were saying that Thelwell had the chance to buy Gyökeres for like a lot less than Beto, and instead he turned down the chance. Decided it was too expensive to buy Gyökeres and bought Beto instead. He was the other option. I mean,
an extra 10 million.
How the freaking hell does that decision come to his mind? You know, how does anybody make that decision after watching the two of them play? Gyökeres is clearly a better player. He's just he's a goal scorer for starters, but he's a lot more of a player. He's strong. He's skillful. You know, he's one of those players where you just watch him and you think, my God, he's good. You know, when you watch it, you just think if he had
Yeah.
pace, he'd be something special. He would really be like he'd already be at like a Man City or Real Madrid rather than at Sporting. Because he is a bit of a special talent here.
Is it element? That's what I'm saying. Everything about the club at the moment is wrong. The manager's wrong. The tactics is wrong. The director of football's wrong. The owner's wrong. And it's an amalgamation of things that you don't want to happen to your club are happening at Everton. And it's such an absolute mess at the moment, you know.
Being called Everton's pretty much what I wouldn't want to happen to my club. So yeah, I see what you mean. Everything's wrong with it.
I think you're right. You know, it's
blue.
It's absolutely terrible. I'm not having that one, but I love the rest of it.
The way you're going, though, mate. I mean, this new stadium, you're going to be lucky to be in the Championship in this stadium at this rate. You could end up being, you know what I mean? You could end up not.
Yeah.
You know, that's if you're going to even own it by the time you get in there.
You know, one thing I will say, we have got some decent players as well, and if we get a manager. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been talked about today, but
oh god,
to come to Everton, he's the latest name linked. Surprisingly, but yeah, I think if we change the manager in the next couple of weeks, which I hope we will be, I think we've still got a chance to get out of it. And I'm not saying that blindly, just being an Everton. I think we've got enough players there to actually be as good as or better than like Southampton, Leicester. You know, I think we will be in the fight. It's only 4 games. You know, get 2 points and you can be out bottom 3. You know what I mean? Get a win and you're out the bottom 3. So it is early days yet, and I think we might have enough there. Get Branthwaite back. You know. Start playing with a bit of confidence, maybe, but this is what I'm hoping as much as expected. But change the manager, change the tactics, get the players wanting to play instead of they don't buy into this hoopball for me. Try. So there is a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. Not much, but if things change and quickly, and the new owners maybe come in. You know, we're not dead and buried yet. That's all I'm saying. And there is still a little bit of hope. And I think we could still get out of it if things change. But if they don't, we won't.
Well, you've been not far away because you've had the 2-0 leads in games. You're obviously not far off.
No. We've got some good players, Trish. You know, there are a few good players there, and if we're set up right, you know, but you can't be playing with like 6 men, 7 men, 3 or 4 aren't worth a carrot. The likes of Young, Keane, I'd go as far as to say, you know, Decore, Harrison, McNeil hasn't been firing. You know, you can't play with half a side against Premier League teams. They're going to murder you, and that's what's happened. And we've got to change the manager. Is the first thing to do for me.
Okay, you got anything to add on this, Seamus?
Not really, other than how can a Premier League experienced manager let his side lose from 2-0 up twice in a row?
Good question.
A lot of it's down to tactics, and
it's a very poor reflection on him, no?
Yeah, absolutely it is. Who's going to take him on? Now, once he gets the push off Everton, I can't see any team taking him on. Except a championship side that might want to have a trying to get. But it certainly won't be a Premier League side.
Maybe Burnley.
We were really, really interested to see how he would get on at a different club with different players, but sadly, it's looked worse.
Yeah, it has.
His time at Everton has just looked worse on him.
Yeah, he said all
Yeah, it
this
has.
stuff about he only played this way because of the players he had. Well, Everton are giving him the option to play a different way. He's got the chance,
No,
he's
not
had the
just
chance, and he's just thrown it away, hasn't he?
Right.
he's
Absolutely.
not just have
Absolutely.
given a different chance. Like his style of play at Burnley is totally unsuited to Everton right now,
Mm.
and yet he's persevering with that. Like that's
Yeah,
that is
it's just a
stupid.
different club. Yeah, different club, different colour shirt. That's all. And yeah, he's a bit dinosaur and robotic in the way he sets up. It's not about football. It's about trying to get a result. Just trying to not look and any way to do that. Mainly some set pieces. We score most of our goals from set pieces. That's what he does. He doesn't want to play this attractive football, one touch, playing through the midfield. It's all very battling and trying to get something out the game, even if you don't deserve it. And we're fed up with it. The supporters are fed up with it.
I'd be surprised if he sees out the next international break. I think it'll be time he moves on.
Yeah, I think so as well, Chris.
It's going to be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to the rescue, Billy.
Well, possibly. He's the one being mentioned at the moment.
There are
My
many better
God.
options for sure.
My God, are we so out?
As an option. It's not bad if he's just in as a caretaker to see you through to the summer until you can find somebody. But,
The only thing I'll say is
no.
he's better than Dyche. That's all I can say.
Yeah, definitely. But
No, you got the pick of the two ex-Manchester United bosses.
Yeah,
Solskjaer.
I still think it'll be Moyes myself. I know always been mentioned, but I think it's going to be Dave.
Moyes is certainly pushing.
Yeah, and he's still got some influence in that boardroom as well, by the way. A lot of them still like him.
I don't think Ole would actually take the job.
Really?
Don't you know? No, probably not.
No, because Everton are a mess, and he should know that he will already be starting with a back foot.
True. That's a possibility, but I think he'd take it just because it's a chance to show he's more than just, that he's got something about
I think he might take it. Yeah. Can we stop talking about Everton now and move on?
Yeah.
Why though? We should talk more about Everton.
We've got more to talk about. Don't worry, we've got more to talk about than the midweek matches yet, mate. Bournemouth Chelsea's the next one in the Premier League. Chelsea made fucking heavy weather of a really poor Bournemouth side at the moment. They're really not playing well. Bournemouth have been awful this season. What's happened to them?
Yeah.
Look like Irio's in the corner, and they've just fallen apart this season.
Yeah, Chelsea aren't that great though, are they, to be honest with you? I know they got the results. It looked as though it was a draw all over the place, but they got that goal. It's all about scoring goals, and Chelsea are fighting. They are showing some fight. I still don't think they're good enough to. But I should say Bournemouth. They don't look a good side at all, except against Everton. They looked a good side. But no, they don't look very good. And, but I still think they were unlucky to lose that game. And, a nice finish by Nkunku. But, yeah, I never watched much of the game, watched a few of the highlights. And, yeah, it could have went either way at one stage, but Bournemouth are not as strong as what they were, previous to it. And Chelsea don't look like a side. They look like a side to me. Not a bunch of individuals for me, as I keep saying about them. And they don't play as a unit. But they've picked up a few results, and they are in the top half, so are they doing everything wrong? Maybe not.
No, I mean they're eighth, but it's only 4 games in, and both of their wins have come you look at it and you think they're not really representative of the games. I mean, no way.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
just fell apart, like, rather than they were battered. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then against Bournemouth, obviously, like you said, a draw would have been a better reflection of the actual game itself.
Yeah.
Are you right? Chelsea are not a good side, and they're not well managed either. So.
No, it goes back to what we were talking about the other week about the policy of having that many players. You don't actually know who to play and who to leave out. And as a club, I don't think they're very well run. People would disagree with me, but I just think that the way the transfers go, they're bringing in youngsters, then loaning them out, selling them. It's more of a business than a football club, and it's not my style at all. I'm not a big fan of Chelsea, I must admit.
What about you, Seamus?
Bournemouth missed a penalty,
Yeah.
so it wasn't a great reflection on what was the Chelsea when they win 1-0. And what the hell was that defending? Oh my bloody hell.
Disaster has been very poor.
No, I don't mean for this. I mean for the Nkunku goal.
Oh yeah.
What the hell was that defending? I watched Manchester United. I watched Manchester United either live or highlights. I've watched them for so many years. We've been atrocious, but never that bad in defense.
Yeah.
Sure.
What was that with Nkunku? Like, come on! If nothing else, be a man. Don't get bullied like that, you idiots.
Oh yeah, I agree.
It's so weak. It's
soft.
What's happened to them? Why have they've just fallen off? Last season they were starting to look like, Iraola had got them sorted and on the right track, and then they've reverted back to the same thing they were doing when he first joined. And they're looking awful again.
See, they had the centre forward there. It was the linchpin to that attack, And
Solanke.
Solanke, and he done really well for them, and they've lost him. And I don't know who they replaced him, but they don't. Is it Ed Nelson? Is his name? What's his name?
Evan Nelson.
Yeah.
Evan Nelson.
And he doesn't look. He's the one who missed the penalty, by the way. And he doesn't look as though their outlet was to play it up to Solanke, and then same as what Everton did with Calvert-Lewin. Yeah, put it up top to him. He'd hold the ball up. He's good at that actually. And then the players coming on at be the attack, and he hasn't got that in the locker with the new lad. So I don't know whether they're suffering from that, because that was their style of play. Was very much the Everton mould. Get it up to the forward, wait for the players to come playing. But they haven't got that this year, and I'm wondering whether that is their downfall, losing Solanke. I don't think he's the greatest player, but he's done a good job for them. And they haven't really replaced him like for like.
Yeah, I can understand what you're saying there. Possible. Yeah. I'm not convinced, but it's possible. Because that's not the way Iraola's played before, so I'm surprised that it would bother him. He should be able to, play different styles. He certainly.
Yeah, you would think so.
Yeah. I just think they don't look like. I mean, that doesn't excuse the defending that we saw for the Nkunku goal. Like Seamus said, it was just weak, pathetic defending. That's not because Solanke's not playing, is it? And so it isn't. No, I think they've got bigger problems than just missing Solanke. I just think they're in real trouble.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll pick up enough points to keep them out of relegation, but they're definitely not moving forward this season.
No.
So weird though how they've regressed so much. Do you think of a reason for it, Seamus?
I don't know. I'm just amazed how quickly it's just fallen away for them, especially with how they played at the back end of last season. at the end of the second half. I thought they were going to kick on, but something's not right for them.
There definitely seems to be problems there, don't there?
Yeah.
Should we move on to the Sunday games now? And it's the first one obviously was the North London derby, Spurs versus Arsenal, which was a thriller minute.
Not a great spectacle, that was it. I thought it was a very boring game myself, and I do like Arsenal, I must admit. Odegaard was a big miss for them, but and Rice, of course, suspended. But one thing you've got to say about Arsenal defence, they're not going to shit many goals this year. They're so solid. The two centre halves, really good players. And you know what? Tottenham never offered enough for me. They've got two really good players there in Kulusevski and Son, but they never really got that much of a look in, because Arsenal's defence is so solid. And you go back to the old thing, 1-0's enough, you can't beat the Arsenal. And that's what it was like. And they don't need to be great up front, they only need to score one goal and they're going to win the game. And that's what it looks to me at the moment. But I still think that they're missing, I think they missed a trick this year, not getting a top quality centre forward. They won the game, obviously, but will they get away with that all the time? I don't know whether they will.
No, I
think they're a bit they're a bit wishy-washy up front. Trossard wasn't great, to be honest with you. He played all the and and the other fella, you're convincing me more. What's his name? The left winger for Arsenal.
Martinelli.
Yeah, Martin. He's absolutely hopeless. Honest to God, really bad. I know. They've got a couple of players to come in. By the way, they've got that Calafiori. They've got him and the other lad that they bought. Marino, is it?
Marino, yeah.
There's Marino. There's Sterling as well. Don't forget Sterling.
Oh yeah, Raheem Sterling.
And Stan Sterling, yeah. So they have got little options there, but they haven't got a Van Persie, a Bergkamp, a Henry, someone who puts that ball in the net, you know what I mean, on a regular basis. That's what they're missing for me. And, yeah, absolutely, Trish, yeah. That's what they're missing.
Them because he builds the play. I don't think Osimhen, because he just doesn't. I just don't think he fits the Premier League. He's like Lukaku at the top end teams. I mean, if you play him in Everton where the ball's going over the top and they're sat back and they're defending, or a Forest, teams that can sit in deeper. But when you're putting them in an Arsenal where they're playing higher up, and the opponents are almost always sat back deep, I just don't think Osimhen does enough. He's not good enough. Yeah. But someone like Gyökeres, he's a bit like a Berbatov. He's the ideal player for someone like Arsenal. They need someone who can play. I think he'd be perfect for them. And they had the chance to sign him and looked at him and considered it. I don't understand why they didn't pull the trigger.
No, I don't. And I think that they might be better. If they don't win it, they will be better. But they could have been so much better. And, and seeing teams off, and because, as I say, the defence and most of the midfield, by the way, are very, very good. And, teams aren't going to hammer Arsenal. One, maybe, looking to get a goal, maybe two at the most, even the better sides. And they're so solid that they're going to be right up there, Arsenal. And, but I was disappointed with Tottenham, I must be honest with you. Players like that Potter, it just isn't good enough for team who wanting to be in the Champions League places. And you've got a few players like that who just aren't good enough. And I think their keeper is the worst keeper in the Premier League. I want to tell you that now. He's such a wimp. He comes off his line. He stays on his line, more than what with them. He's terrible in the air. And if I was a team playing at Tottenham, I'd be throwing balls in there all the time for Carlio. I think he's awful. But that's just my opinion of the goalkeeper.
Good
I think they're a bit wishy-washy.
Good one-on-one. But he's
Yeah, he could say that, yeah, but he couldn't command his area. He's not an Alice.
He's not going to command his area, but he does have good feats. He's not the worst, because there's a lot worse. I mean, McCarthy at Southampton's far worse, which is why they replaced him with Ramsdale. Who else?
Ramsdale's not much better, to be honest with you.
No.
Onana.
No, yeah. That's the worst keeper in the Premier League. Onana. There's not
because
even an argument
every
anymore.
week.
Yeah, I'm talking about like first choice, I should say, because obviously you can't include people that aren't first choice, because that's just, they don't get enough time to really establish how bad or good they are, really. But Onana's, he's awful.
What did you think of Arsenal's performance? Or Tottenham's performance comes to that in that game?
Seamus, you mean?
You can criticize Spurs all you want, but Ange Postecoglou always wins in his second season, no?
Yeah, so he says. So he told us, yeah.
Yeah, but not when he's been managing Spurs. That's the thing he's forgetting. He's never managed Spurs before. And Spurs don't win in their second, first, third, fourth, fifth or sixth season. It doesn't fucking matter. They don't win. Yeah.
No, you should have just said Spurs don't win. You don't need to add anything else.
Yeah. There's just not the mentality there at the club anymore. They've just become so bitter, and it's all about just wanting to stop Arsenal now. Even if it means losing. They don't care anymore. They've stopped wanting to win things. They just want Arsenal not to win. That's all they're bothered about now. It's quite sad.
Yeah. I remember them going mad. Yeah. Spurs and Southampton's there.
Yeah, you always have a lot in common with Tottenham fans, eh, Bill?
At the moment, yeah.
They
do look solid, don't they? They do look solid at the back. Gabriel and some solid in the middle.
Probably
not much of getting past them.
Probably the best defensive pairing at the moment, central defensive pairing at the moment in the Premier League, I think. Saliba and Gabriel.
Yeah, not the world.
Yeah, I can't think of any off the top of my head that are better. So.
No, they're really good. Go on, Trish, want to move on, mate?
Yeah, it's not really a lot to say, because it was just straightforward grinding a result out for Arsenal. They did what they needed to do, and it was like they were never really in trouble, were they? Spurs just don't look good enough. They don't look like a team at all. They really look in trouble as well, actually, it's got to be said. Postecoglou's got a lot to do. It's surprising that the media haven't been turning on him yet. So.
Yeah, I think he's a bit of a darling to the media because he's so good verbally,
And he calls them all mates, so they like him.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And he's a bit of a darling, with his attitude. I must admit, as a personality. But
he gives them copy, doesn't he? Because he gives them things to talk about all the time. When he speaks, he definitely, he always gives them a story to write.
Yeah, listen, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, I see how long that lasts, though. Wolves Newcastle was the final game on the Sunday. Newcastle winning 2-1.
Yeah, they stole it really. Yeah, they had a couple of good chances. Wolves, Lamina scored a good goal, and he had another great chance. And they had a couple of good chances. They could have buried Newcastle, but Newcastle, they hung in there and cracking goal for the winner. And I suppose I don't know how to feel about Wolves this season. I was expecting, that what O'Neill done last year, they'd carry on, but they seem to have regressed a little bit. I know it's only early, and they've had a couple of difficult games, but yeah, they don't look as though they're on point at the moment, and I think they look a bit washy to me. They should not have lost that game against Newcastle. Newcastle aren't all that. I wouldn't have been surprised if Wolves beat them the way they played first half, especially. They were very good. but they let Newcastle back in, and Newcastle come out as victors 2-1. And yeah, you know, you can't deny them the win, but I still don't think they're the finished article either. Do nowhere near as good.
Newcastle there, but they're getting the results, but they're grinding them, aren't they? They're not particularly good.
Yeah. Now, even Isak was a bit under the weather. You know, I like him. Really good player. And they've got Gordon as well. You know, he's really good in patches. You know, the lad in midfield who's very good. You know, they've got a few good players, but they've got some journeymen in there at the moment. You know, who are holding them back a little bit from being a very good side. They don't look as though they're going to be threatening anywhere near the top 4 for me, unless things change.
The bizarre thing was they sold their best young player, their standout player, probably, in Anderson to Forest in the summer.
Yeah.
And that's just, I mean, how are you ended up in a position where you're selling a player like that? If you want to win things, it's really weird. That one was.
Yeah, they've got a lot of players who are not top Premier League players, you know, more journeymen. The two brothers in the ones over the sub, Longstaff is.
Yeah.
And and you know they've got a few players who I wouldn't say are top quality. You know, I think they're carrying a few players. I don't know what the money situation is.
Defenses.
Buy a couple more players, but yeah, I think they need a couple of players. But they ground out a couple of good results lately, but as you say, it's total grind. It's not free flowing. It's not what you'd expect that Newcastle would be aiming for. And to be honest with you, I was talking about it with Everton supporters on that. Maybe Eddie Howe might be an option for Everton because I think his time's numbered at Newcastle. That's just my own personal view. I think if the merry-go-round does go round of managers, I think he'll be one of the casual.
I think he's only there because the results are but if the results drop off because the performances are so bad. The minute the results drop off, he'll be out the door.
Yeah, I think so too, Trish. Yeah.
Because you can put it with bad performances when your results are coming, but you have to have, you can't. The minute the results are failing, then and you're still playing poorly, you're not going to keep your job, are you?
No.
Never wanted
especially
him in the first place, anyway. Let's be honest.
No, they didn't, and I was surprised he wasn't replaced a lot sooner than what it is now. You know, I didn't give him long when he was appointed because the money they pumped into Newcastle, and they've done a lot of work on the stadium. I think they were looking for someone maybe a bit higher in profile than what Eddie Howe is. I don't mind Eddie Howe. I think he's. But if you want wanting to be in the Champions League, I don't think he's the man for Newcastle. So I think he will be replaced when, I don't know.
What about you, Seamus? Anything to add?
I watched this game. I can give you a proper breakdown if you want. Yeah, I watched it from the start to the end.
Oh, nice, okay.
I'll just say, in short, the game was kind of 50-50. People can say this, that, whatever. It was kind of 50-50 until Wolves started playing well for the 5 minutes. Then they scored. Like Billy said, they should, and they could and probably should have had another. But then the lad on top for Wolves, the new guy, who the hell is he? He was looking really good for them, especially for the Wolves side. And then all of a sudden the defense just crumbled. I know there were 2 lucky pot shots in a way, the ones that you can't rely on to win you leagues when you great points every season, but there was at the end it was just Wolves allowed them enough space and time to take those shots, and then you have to pay the price.
They finished by Barnes, so wasn't it, for the winner? Second strike.
Yeah, but like we said with Hudson-Odoi, you can't allow the attacker that much.
No, you can't. You're right. You're totally right.
Yeah, you're just asking for trouble, aren't you? If you're giving them space to hit a shot, you know Barnes is going to look to hit a shot. That's what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
that was a risky play from Wolves, and they paid the price.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
You talked about Ange not getting media on his back. I'm surprised nobody's jumped on Gary on his back yet. The slump in form from the end of last season has continued.
But again, they're selling. They're selling the players out from under him. So I think that's keeping him, keeping the spotlight off him, because I think people feel a bit sorry for him because he's just having to deal with, they basically had a fire sale last season and it's pretty much continued this summer. They've got, they lost Neto just as they're getting settled in for the season, and Neto's gone,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's saving him from getting a rough ride, myself. Should we move on? Are we gonna talk about the big game on Monday night, the Birmingham Wrexham game? I don't know if I mean, who the hell was that being televised for? I don't know.
Hollywood. It was a Hollywood game.
Hollywood derby.
Deadpool.
It was.
Because there was a Deadpool involved.
I know, but sake, I mean, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? Let's be honest. Let's just forget about that. It's not even proper football, is it? Let's talk about real football. We got Carabao Cup and Champions League to talk about, haven't we? So.
Yeah.
I think we'll just cover the English clubs in Europe. Villa versus Young Boys. Young Boys are a bit shit, let's be honest.
No, but they've got a cracking stadium.
I love that. I know I'm about 12 years old mentally for laughing at it every fucking time. But every time it makes me laugh. You can't help it, can you? I mean, how can you have
the name of the club and the name of the
stadium? And the other team, they've got another team that plays there as well called Old Boys. It isn't like it's just like Young Boys. There's an Old Boys team that plays there as well. At Wankdorf. I mean, it works for either of them, really.
Yeah. Oh, I see bits of this, and Villa done all right, they're a pretty decent side, Villa, and to go away there, even the Young Boy, they done well, and well-deserved winners, and they're not a bad side, Villa, and they've got a good so, I don't mind teams like that, they play good football, still short of a couple of players, I think, but, yeah, I'm happy with Villa. Good luck to them.
Yeah, next game there was Juventus beat Eindhoven. AC Milan Liverpool was the next English game, one that involved English clubs. So, to be honest, I know AC Milan took the lead early on, but to be honest, that really didn't match their contribution to the game. Milan were lucky to ever get a goal. They were so poor. I really aren't a good side, and they were absolutely dominated by Liverpool, to be honest. And I know what I found quite disturbing though is Slot afterwards saying, when we can play like this against AC Milan, how did we lose to Forest? I'm thinking, well, because you got the tactics wrong against Forest. You tried to play the same tactics against them, and Forest are not AC Milan. They're a better side.
Yeah. They're poor, aren't they, Trish? I'm not taking nothing away from Liverpool played well, and how they went one down, I don't know, but it was by far the better side. But yeah, but they played very well. They played very well, Liverpool.
He let two players run off him, and instead of dropping off, Kostas Tsimikas had gone forward. The ball's played into the space where he was, into the space in midfield in front of where McAllister should have been. I mean, it was played into that space there, and Van Dijk followed it in there rather than noticing there's two runners, Pulisic and I forget who the other one was now off the top of my head. But anyway, two runners were going down the left, and instead of seeing that and dropping off, Van Dijk, even though there was only Canate alongside him, so there was no cover because Tsimikas had gone forward, he decided he would follow the ball into midfield and just left a huge gaping hole. The whole left side of the field was open. So it was a bad error by Van Dijk. It was a bad error by Tsimikas getting drawn forward, and McAllister was just so far out of position. I mean, he was chasing back the entire time, and he never even caught up at any point. You know what I mean? He was still miles behind the play when they'd scored. It was just
Yeah.
That is a problem. The Liverpool midfield, McAllister does not work in that position. He's too slow. Got no mobility, and he hasn't got the reading of the game to play the defensive side of it. It's just not going to. He's got to look at this. Slaughter's got to see that this is a problem. It's leaving a weakness. It's a massive gaping hole in front of Van Dijk. This time he tried to fill it instead of dropping off to cover the runs in behind. But that is the problem you're going to have, is that every time if a forward drops off into that space that McAllister's leaving, Van Dijk's always going to be tempted to go forwards. And if the fullback isn't playing as a centre back at the time and is actually playing as a fullback, you're going to have a massive hole in the left side of the defence. And it's Slot's got to look at this. McAllister just isn't going to be the answer there if we're going to play. You're going to play, unless you're going to play a back three, in essence, with the way Robertson's been playing most of the season. That's why the defence has been good. Is because he's played Robertson most of the season, played basically as a left centre back. And then so there's someone there to fill the gap. But if he goes forward, McAllister has to start thinking, if the fullback's going forward, I need to drop off and cover the space. The way Milner used to do all the time, or Henderson. You know what I mean? When the fullbacks went forward, one of them would fill in. He's just not doing that. He can't expect Gravenberch to cover the whole. See, he's already covering 90% of the pitch on his own anyway because McAllister's so slow. But yeah, this is why we're going to concede goals, because people are going to spot this. Other teams are going to spot this, and they're going to constantly attack this space, because there is a big gaping space in front of Virgil van Dijk at the moment for teams to hit the ball into, and it's they're going to start exploiting it more and more. Forest did it, and now AC Milan have done it. And I can see this being the go-to plan against Liverpool until Slot does something about it. If he does something about it. If he doesn't, he's going to end up getting the sack because it won't work.
Right, you're focused on all the negative points.
Yeah.
What about the positive points? Liverpool played very well.
Oh, yeah,
ran out really easy winners and played some nice stuff. Gravenberch as well, again, really good. And most of the team played. Yeah, it's about twice that I know of, and really good. And they looked very strong, Liverpool as well.
Apart from Jota.
And I'm not.
And
apart from Jota.
Poor as well, actually, to be fair.
But what you've got to say about Liverpool, they bounced back well. They had a bad result at the weekend. They bounced back well, but I've got to say, AC Milan are a very poor side. For an AC Milan over the years, has had good players and been a strong side. They look below par, but you can't take nothing away from who played really well. They were thorough in what they'd done. I know they let a goal in. Every team lets a goal in. I thought Liverpool were very strong and well deserved to win the game.
Could have been a bigger margin, to be fair. Like I said, Salah
absolutely.
A couple of good chances, hit the bar both times. I mean, the thing we exploited with the set pieces for the two goals is the keeper. You could see, I don't know who. Obviously, somebody had spotted Maignan was covered in tape. You could see it up his. If you go back and have a look at, you see from the start, he's got black tape is up his back at the back of his neck. You know what I mean? He's obviously got his back taped up and that. He was clearly carrying a problem before he went into it. So it's no wonder that he ended up going off injured in the second half. But you could see he wasn't he wasn't moving properly, and so you just you're putting the ball into an area that normally he'd be coming to deal with because it's within the 6-yard box.
Yeah.
Normally you'd expect him come out and he'd just punch that clear or catch it. But because he wasn't, the defence weren't adapting. Their defence was just stood around expecting him. They were set up to allow him to attack that space, and instead our centre-backs were attacking it, and they just never adapted to deal with that problem. So that was good. Briggs, who's doing the set pieces, I can see why they've confirmed him permanently now in the role, doing the set pieces, because he'd spotted this. I'm assuming it was him that spotted it anyway, and he'd told them where to put the set pieces in, and it worked brilliantly.
Yeah.
I mean,
totally professional performance by them, I'd say.
Yeah, you got to take advantage
done really well.
Kind of things. If you can spot a problem with a player, he's struggling to use his left foot or whatever, or he's just weak on it. He's slow getting down to his right to the keeper. You've got to be telling your players this is what an analyst should be doing. That's what their job should be, is to spot these things and get the players to take advantage of it. So it was good to see that happening, because it's not often you see it. It's got to be said in football these days. Yeah, so I was pleased with that. But like I said, there was a few things though. It's still worrying signs. It's not perfect, I would say. It's still a work in progress.
Yeah, don't forget, he's only had 5 games as a manager.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's a bit of time to stamp his authority on the side and his style, and he's got credits in the bank up to now. He's lost one game, so he's got plenty of time to work things the way he wants. So I wouldn't be too disappointed with anything Slott's done up to now.
No, as long as he keeps winning, it doesn't really matter if there's weaknesses in the game plan anyway, does it? As long as he finds ways to make it, so the team still adapts and overcomes the problems, it doesn't matter. But the club do need to be aware of these things, and they do need to look at it for the future, because you won't get away with it against City, for example, or Arsenal. So.
No, you're right.
So next, I don't know if you had anything to add to that, Seamus. I'm assuming you would be watching it, because obviously.
Hey, look, watching Liverpool now.
No, surprised, because it's not like there was any other games on at the same time or anything, was there? Yeah. Bayern thrashed Dinamo 9-2. Dinamo's Real Madrid. I tell you what, they got a fucking hiding and still came out with a 3-1 victory. How does that happen? I know the referees give them everything, which helps, but still they were jammy. Stuttgart should have put them to the sword, really. But yeah, and Sporting beat Lille 2-0, and Gyökeres was his goal. It's weird to watch if anyone's listening that hasn't seen it. Find it and find a clip of it and watch it. He was a piece of magic from him, really. You know what I mean? It's not like he's beaten 13 players or anything, but it was just the way he did. It was a real striker's goal, brilliant. Not like I don't know how to describe it, really. It was but there was more to it than just slotting in from 6 yards, like. So anyway, should we move on to the Carabao Cup then?
Do we have to? Yeah.
Yeah. Stoke drew 1-1 with Fleetwood and then won on penalties under their new manager. Blackpool lost to Sheffield Wednesday. Brentford beat Leyton Orient 3-1. Everton 1-1 with Southampton and lost on penalties 6-5. There's a surprise, Billy.
And guess who missed the final penalty? Man, Mr. Young again.
Your favourite.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, we put some young lads out against Sam Anderson and that, and a lot of fullback. And they didn't look up to it either, I'm afraid. But, they're young lads and they're getting taught tactics that are archaic and mainly defences. I'm giving them a free ride. And yeah, awful again. The football was absolutely disgraceful. And he took at 1-1 with 20 minutes to go. He took Bettolov. He should have been taken off before then because he's actually. But he brought Young on as his replacement. A fullback, a left-sided old fullback. He brought on as his replacement. What does that tell you about the mentality of the team, his tactics, and the players?
Can I ask something that's been bugging me for a while? I keep meaning to ask because he never plays them anyway. But as he's actually played some youngsters, it seems relevant to ask. What's that kind of way do you play your youth teams play? Do you, are you all set up to play the dice way, or do the youth teams play proper football? Like
I've seen some of the under 21s. I've seen a couple of the under 18, and it's a different type of football that they play. It's a better style. So I don't know whether he has much to do with that side of the club, but they seem to play a lot more interactive football, a lot of pass and move, and they're quite good at it actually, and they do all right. The under 21s and the under 18s are quite good, but he won't give kids a chance. He puts in players who he knows from times gone by, the likes of Keane and Young, players like that, who he knows are going to run all day, whether they've got skill or not. He doesn't hold much value with players who want to take players on in case they lose the ball. And the under 18s and the under 20s reputation for playing decent football, which they do. I've seen them a few times, but they don't get a chance. And when they're thrown in at the deep end, Whale beaters overnight, playing in a system that they're not used to, which is hoofball. And I feel sorry for the youngsters there because they must be disillusioned that they're not going to get a chance. He's not going to give them a chance because he sticks with the stalwarts, players who are over the hill or not good enough, because he knows them and he knows what they're going to offer, which is being solid and being fit and being able to run, which I don't think Young is, but why he's picked them I don't know. But the crowd were booing all the time, especially when he took Beto. It was hopeless, don't get me wrong. But to bring on, at home, in a League Cup, to take off your centre forward and replace him with a left back, as it turned out, he went to left back, it's just not on. The crowd are there to be entertained, they're there to be excited, and he weren't, and he showed it, he voiced the disapproval. And I know it's easy to say you shouldn't boo your own side, but sometimes you just can't help it. And it's just not good enough, honest to God, it's really not good enough.
You got anything to add on this, Seamus?
Not really. Let's move on to the other big game from
Preston drew 1-1 with Fulham then, and Preston beat them and went and won 16-15 on penalties. That's 1-6, 1-5, just to point out, not 6-5, 16-15. Yeah.
15, yeah.
Yeah, fucking hell, like that means all of them would have taken a penalty, and then it's gone right, started going round again. So QPR lost to Palace, and then somebody else beat Barnsley. Close run thing, scraped by them by 7-0.
Yeah. 7-0. I don't care who you are. You still to beat a team 7-0 is a decent performance, and it can only do good. Again, looks as though he maybe out of his slump. Played well. Scored a couple of goals. Danny that's, I think, the aim for this year. If I was a United, that'd be one of my aims. Would be the Carabao Cup. I don't think they're going to do a lot in the league. Personally, that's just my personal opinion. The FA Cup, you know, you can be drawn against a good side, you can be drawn against a poor side. Same as the Carabao, but I think they've got more chance of winning the Carabao than they have of any other competition myself. But good luck to them. 7-0, very good.
I think in the position they're in, unless you're Man City, who can afford to say we'll concentrate on the league, I think everybody else really has to take domestic cup seriously, because there's a very good chance they're not going to win the league. And so really, you're looking at the domestic cup as your best chance of a trophy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And for me, it's still a worthwhile trophy. You know, I know people disregard it as not one of the big clubs. A domestic trophy is a domestic. It's a day out for the fans of Wembley. It's a success. And I'm all for it. And that's why I was so disappointed with Everton. Possibly, I know they've got injuries, Dice keeps telling us. But you've got to take these cups seriously and have a go for the fans. You know, these people who turn up 30-odd thousand again at Everton, try again at Hampton, and, you know, give them something to go home to be happy about, to, you know, show them a bit of style, and, you know, that you're trying to move, trying to win. Not bringing on their players who shouldn't be on the field.
Before we one thing we've got to discuss before we move on and give Seamus his chance to talk about this game. I think I nearly forgot something about the Milan-Liverpool game. Mark Clattenburg's comments during the commentary. I don't know if you've seen them, Bill. I sent them to Seamus. What the? I mean, he just blatantly admitted corruption. He's told the commentators, you know, in the middle of the game, he said the crowd's getting on the referee's back. I'm paraphrasing, I'm not using his exact quote, but basically he said the crowd's getting on the referee's back a bit here because he's making fair decisions, and the crowd don't like it. You know, he's allowing play to go and all that, you know, allowing play to run on and stuff, and allowing a bit of physicality. So he should give soft decisions in favour of Milan to get the crowd off his back.
Is that what he actually said?
He honestly said this. I mean,
pretty much.
That is what he said. Yeah, I've actually listened to it, and that is what I'm paraphrasing, but that is basically what he was saying is the crowd's a bit on his back here. You know, they're not liking the fact that he's not giving Milan all the decisions. So get him off your back. You know, give him a few soft decisions. It's like, what? That's cheating. You know?
Unbelievable, I mean, unbelievable. And they wonder why people call these out for corruption. And they come out with things like that. Absolutely ridiculous.
Shocking. That is just... He's basically telling him to cheat. You can't put it any other way. That's what he said. He's saying cheat. Because, you know, that way the crowd won't be on your back. I cannot understand how that's not been all over the news and that since.
Yeah. Bloody disgraceful, isn't it?
That's absolutely disgusting to say that. I mean, is this what we're gonna find? Is that what he was doing when he was refereeing? Is this what we're finding? You know, is this what he was doing? He was giving decisions in favour of the home team all the time, just because he didn't want to get the spare. You know, that's basically what he's saying, isn't it?
Absolutely ridiculous, that, isn't it? What a statement to come up with.
Astonishing.
Listen, before we go any further, can I just mention? Well, it's still fresh in my mind. Two of our players are missing this week. Gary Shaw played for Villa. Very good player. I've seen a lot of him when I was younger, and thought he was an excellent player for Villa. Toto Scalacci passed away as well. Both still young men in the 60s, early 60s. And we've been calling out these things, you know. It's all part of football, it's all part of the beautiful game. And two players, very good players as well, by the way.
Yeah, Scalacci is one of those names everyone knows, I think.
Yeah, Toto, yeah. What a good player. Yeah, what a World Cup he had. I've never seen much of him after that, but what a World Cup he had then. Fantastic.
Yeah. So anyway, we should go back and let Seamus have his chance to talk about Man United versus
Yeah,
Barnsley.
absolutely.
Did they put out a reserve side, Seamus? Is that how it happened? Is that why they won?
Is he with us?
I think he's probably fallen asleep.
Oh no! I was on mute.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Do you see what I'm working with here? What I told you, like roadkill. Technical ability of roadkill. I'm telling you. So go on,
So go on,
give your talk on what happened. Talk us through the game, minute by minute, because it was obviously a close run thing. You only scraped by.
No, it was a good outing for the lads.
Did I read it right? Anthony scored, or see it right? I mean, I should say.
No, he won the penalty and then converted the penalty, but
penalty.
Not having watched the incident thoroughly, I will say it was on the softer side. It looked to me to be on the softer side, but probably the right decision.
Maybe the crowd were getting on the referee's back, so we thought we'd better give you a soft decision.
It was already 2-0 by that time, I think, or 3-0. But we were already winning the game comfortably. But it was nice to see us, like Billy said, regardless of the opposition, when you're firstly keep a clean sheet and then score a bunch of goals with a lot of the players, it's hard to do well. If nothing else, then for the players' confidence.
Yeah.
The golfing class was pretty evident.
Yeah, the confidence is a big thing, isn't it?
Yeah, Rashford scored 2 goals. It should do him a world of good. Garnacho finally got to start off the left hand side. It should do him well. The likes of Maguire could get it on out in the field, maybe build up some form, and especially Casemiro started and didn't do anything absurd and cost us a goal or two. So it should do them well. But Bruno, man, come on, he comes on in the 60 odd minute and then ends up with 2 assists again. That's a machine when it comes to
Yeah, he is. But you've still got to beat these teams, haven't you? You know, and that's their cup final. That was their cup final, and you've still got to put on a performance. United did, so all credit to them. You know, I know it's a bit less a team, but you know, still 7-0's a good run out. And as Deeps was saying, you know, bit of confidence, getting to play more with each. Nothing wrong with that, and you can't knock it for me.
Win is a win.
10 goals in 2 games. 10 goals in 2 games is if that doesn't boost up the confidence of the players, then
nothing will.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Rashford just doesn't like letting kids down. Who did he promise to score for this time? Which kid was it this time? Because that's what you need to do. You just need to get kids from around the area to get him to promise to score for him. That's what he needs. That's all he needs, isn't it? For those who don't know, he made a promise to celebrate his next goal. To dedicate his next goal to a kid in the Manchester. I forget who the kid was, but he's promised to dedicate an ex-goal he scored to. And of course, the internet was flooded with things about, he'll be 35 by the time he gets that goal dedicated to him. Of course, he went and scored the next game. It's like, if he's got to help starving kids, Rashford's unstoppable, isn't he?
Yeah.
Should we move on to the Wednesday then? Because that was the last game on the Tuesday, I mean.
Yeah, go ahead, mate.
Champions League, Bologna drew with Shakhtar. Sparta thrashed Red Bull Salzburg 3-0, even though Salzburg had all the possession, 66% possession under Leinders, Pep Leinders, and his intensity. So he's been shown up already because Praga knows for great shakes either, and when you got 66% possession, you can't be losing 3-0, can you?
No.
Yeah. Celtic thrashed Bratislava 5-1, which is a big result for them.
Yeah.
Brugge got beat 3-0 by Borussia Dortmund. Man City drew 0-0 with Inter Milan, which was a bit of a
surprise. Yeah, bit of a surprise.
No, it's a terrible game. I was thinking it was just Inter just sat in and just sat in.
I know actually what's that game.
Yeah.
No, but in a way, it shouldn't be a big surprise because it was the reigning Premier League champions who dominated the league against the reigning Serie A holders who dominated the league even more last season. So, and both have made a very good start to the season.
Yeah.
And played a Champions League final pretty recently as well. So it shouldn't come off as a surprise, but not losing to City is always a good thing for any team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially as the Italian league is not the best in terms of strength at the moment. So they need these kind of results. They're in a bit of a doldrums at the moment, so it do them good.
Yeah.
And then PSG beat Girona 1-0. So Manchester City's reserves 1-0. Really. That's what it is. I mean, it's bizarre. Oh, yeah, that's one thing we haven't mentioned. The news story of Bordeaux, who of course got bankrupt and ended up in the French 4th division because of it. Remember, they got kicked out of the second tier and ended up in the 4th tier now because they got bankrupt. So basically went out of business and had to be rebuilt. They've just signed Andy Carroll. I mean, for fuck's sake.
Oh, yeah.
How bad has his career gone since leaving Newcastle? Jesus, talk about falling off, falling away. That's quite bad. That's really bad, though. To end up there. Anyway, so Carabao Cup now. Brighton beat Wolves 3-2. Don't know if either of you two saw that.
No, I've never seen that game.
Seamus? See anything of it?
No.
No, apparently from what the Wolves fans are saying, they had a few kids out, so I don't know what the team was like, but they were a mixed bag, new signings and that, and so a bit. And Sarr apparently was poor with shots from outside his area, so conceded a couple that way. But and then Coventry got beat by Tottenham 2-1. Which obviously,
I
was just going to say about the Brennan Johnson thing. He's obviously deleted. I don't know if you've heard this, Bill, but he's deleted all his social media because of abuse from Spurs fans. Spurs player Brennan Johnson, and he scored one of the goals. So
I hated it. Scored.
Son made him go over to celebrate because he wasn't going to celebrate. He wasn't even celebrating the goal. It's really looks.
He's only a young lad and all that, but he has been awful for Tottenham, and I've seen them, I must admit. No need for abuse on social media or anywhere else, but he has looked very poor.
Yeah, but there's no excuse.
No, absolutely not. I couldn't agree with you more. I'm just saying, he hasn't. He's looked very poor to me. You don't know what's going on in his. He's. They were looking to get away with that last night, 2-1.
He never wanted to leave Forest. Forest, forced him out basically because they wanted to kick him out of PSR difficulty. So it's you got to give the lad support rather than getting him back. I would have said because he needs to feel like
absolutely,
he wanted. But it's an odd one. Anyway, tonight's Champions League game. Shall I run through quickly what's going on so far? There's only 2 games going on. Crvena Zvezda, which is is that Partizan? Belgrade? I think it is, isn't it?
I don't know.
Or is it Red Star? No, it's Red Star Belgrade. It is Red Star Belgrade. Crvena
Right.
Zvezda. Yeah, they're losing to Benfica 2-0 at home, and Feyenoord are getting a hiding from Bayer Leverkusen at the moment. They're 4-0 down, which is strange because you don't expect Bayer Leverkusen to be 4-0 down unless it's the 95th minute and they score 4 goals in the 95th minute, because otherwise they just don't tend to score, do they? Until it's all, 4 goals is just unusual for them. But yeah, they're looking like they're gonna be doing a similar thing to last season, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like it wasn't a fluke. Everyone was wondering, can they do it again? But they actually look like they've got it in them.
Done a good job, haven't he? Alonso done a good job there.
Yeah, brilliant. You really can't argue with the job he's done.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, he's done brilliant.
But they've also managed to keep hold of most of the side that won them.
True.
Last
That was
season.
a surprise. I'm surprised nobody came in and picked off a lot of some of the players. The striker, for instance, I really thought he'd be somebody had come in for him, Boniface. I really thought he'd be good.
But he only joined last summer, so maybe they could convince him, especially with Champions League football.
True.
Florian Wirtz. Someone has to come and
Florian
make it.
Wirtz, yeah.
Really good offer for him. Come on.
It's astonishing that he didn't get that he wasn't maybe there just wasn't the money there this summer though, because nobody had any real money, did they, to spend? There wasn't exactly loads of cash floating about. But this is the thing, you look at Chelsea and the players they bought and the money they've spent, they could have gone and just targeted a couple of players they needed, like a Wirtz or
Boniface.
Yeah, so I meant Boniface, sorry. I was getting mixed up then, because we were talking about Wirtz afterwards. Sorry, start again. They could have gone and targeted the player they really needed, like Boniface, and spent just big on the players they needed. Instead, they wasted loads on players they didn't really need, like 13 wingers and stuff like that. It's bizarre. I mean, if you're buying, surely you'd be looking at a team like Leverkusen, who played really well and got some. You'd be cherry picking some from them. Surely, if you're a team. This is what I don't understand. It's Chelsea are not buying winners. They're not buying players to win leagues. They're buying players purely on the fact that they think they're cheap and they can turn a profit on them.
Yeah. It's the business rather than the sport for them.
But the way you make money in sport is to win trophies. You don't make money by buying and selling players. It never works because unless you're winning things, the value of the players doesn't rise to the same degree. If you're outperforming the money you're spending, like Brighton are doing, fine, the value will go up. But Chelsea are spending such huge sums, the only way they're going to outperform the money they're spending is winning trophies, and they're not doing that. So the value of the players they're buying isn't going to go up. Just doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Trophies make you play. When you win things, your players become more valuable because they've won things. That's how you make money off players, is you win things. That's the only way to make money in football, is to be a winner. You increase your fan base, you increase your sponsorship, you increase your merchandise sales. Everything about the club will improve when you win trophies, not by finishing mediocre, mid-tables. That is never going to make you more money. It doesn't matter who you sell and how many. You're just going to end up having to sell all the family silver, like the Conor Gallagher's and that. Because let's face it.
Yeah, you're right.
That's where they go wrong. I mean, why did they buy? Still don't get their signing of what's his face from Leicester to replace Conor Gallagher. Dewsbury Hall, who's basically a worse Gallagher. It's on more money for a bigger fee. But yeah, they've not bought, gone and targeted, say, Inter Milan players or cherry picked a few from Bayer Leverkusen, or that's what they should have been doing. Or even the lesser leagues go and cherry picking the best players in the league. That's not what they've been buying.
Why have they let Sterling go and paying half of his wages?
Yeah.
That just doesn't seem. Yeah,
and
just
paying
doesn't
all of
seem
his
right.
wages.
Yeah. So you're actually down. It's not like you're saving money on it.
Yeah.
It's if you were saving money, you could understand it, but you're actually costing your money.
Costing money. Yeah. And strengthening one of your opponents.
But there must have been a reason. There must have been a reason that is unknown to us why Sterling was sold by City, and now why Maresca has walked in through the door at Chelsea and decided that he wants none of Sterling. There must be a reason.
Yeah, it must be some personal thing.
Yeah, there must be something that is not known to us.
Well, I can see why City sold him, because he doesn't suit the Pep way. He doesn't play, doesn't have the technical skills to play Pep system.
No, but Maresca coming in at City and Sterling going away, and then Maresca coming in at Chelsea and then Sterling being forced out there, like.
And we know why Sancho was signed, because obviously he knew Maresca from his time at City. Now, have you seen that? Did you see that? Where he put in the media. He said that he knew Maresca from his time at City, except Maresca wasn't at City at the time he was there. He joined later.
A comfortable 3 years in 17.
Yep.
Yeah, Sancho left in 17. Maresca came in at 20.
So he never met him at City, but that was what he said when he joined. It's like, fucking, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And nobody picked up on it. This is the thing. The media doing the interview didn't pick up on it. It's like, hang on a sec. This.
Yeah.
It's just bizarre. I'm still shocked. I really am. I'm still astonished that there's not more being made of Mark Clattenburg's comments last night.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Tuesday. I am. Sorry, it wasn't last Thursday, isn't it now? I forget what day we're on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, but more of his comments. I mean, that's something that really shouldn't be ignored. Really should be talked about.
No, you're right. Absolutely.
Someone should be saying, "Hang on, this guy was in charge. Was in charge of how many how many matches in the Premier League?"
Yeah, and that's his ethos. Yeah,
fucking right. Calling in question the integrity of every result of every game he's ever refereed. If that's his attitude.
Absolutely, Yeah, stupid. Absolutely stupid and pathetic.
Okay. He obviously thinks that the Gladiators is real, then, doesn't he? Because that's the way he referees in that, isn't it?
Yeah.
To hype the crowd rather than.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, this.
Right, folks. I'm cooked for today. I'm going to have my dinner, and I shall see you both, Nick and anyone who's listening. I'll see you in 2 weeks' time when we're back.
3. It'll be 3 because it'll be 2 weeks I'm away. So.
Oh, right, okay. 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, because I go on the 12th.
But we'll do it again.
So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks very much for today, boy.
Yeah. Apologies.
3 weeks Thursday. Okay. Thanks. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah,
thanks, Deeps. I'll see you next time. Ta-ra, mate.
Take care, mate.
Take care, brother.
We'll see you next time, mate.
See you next time, everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, if we do extra
I guess
we'll use that. Before, and somebody will probably steal it now, and there'll be somebody else doing a podcast as see you next time. What's the better? But yeah, if we do ones in the rest of any other day, we do any specials, we're just going to call them see you next time if it's not a Tuesday or a Thursday. So, I don't know why.
I'll see you next time, Chris.
Yeah. Okay, mate. Take care, and thank you for listening. Anybody who's listening, there is actually people listening, so there is. Thank you for listening. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.